So, in the last video, I really did activity 1.1 and 1.2. I went over those. So let's look at activity 1.3, and that's to introduce yourself on the discussion board. Let me click on that, and I'll do a little demo of that. I don't really care how you get this done. Figure out what works best with your technology, even if it's just taking a quick selfie video on your phone or something like that. It's important that you start getting used to communicating with your colleagues and becoming part of a professional community, talking about things like that. And it's important to know each other when you're doing that. So this will be some of our practice for that. So let's see what we're supposed to do. It says go to the reply and post an introduction, and that the format best, I'd like a little video recording. There's lots of ways to do it. Here's a video. If you can't do it there, make a good sound recording or meet with me in my Kumo space and I'll record us. And other ways you can do talk to text, Prezi, PowerPoint, a text entry, but really I would like you to get used to speaking to your colleagues. It's a really important part of the design collaboration process. So I've made a little snip of this so I can do it. Let me come down here. I'm going to go to the reply, click, and I will insert some media. I'm going to record some media. And look, it comes up computer, and then I have to click record. Now, if you can't do this on VMware, by the way, won't really work. But you can see my mic is kind of clicking away. You can see my little office that I built, and it's got all sorts of stuff in it. This was my pandemic response office. I've got my mic is my blue snowball, and my webcam is, I've got all sorts of webcams, but I'm using my Logitech right now. And so I can just start recording. Click, 3, 2, 1. And I can start going through my questions. My name is Randy Schuster, and my main interest of study is actually mechanical engineering. However, I got to work with many civil engineers and architects through my design career. And so now I am very broad in my interests. And what I like about the field, I like the field of design. And that's because I can translate ideas into something that can be built. Sometimes they're my ideas, sometimes they're somebody else's ideas. But that's what I really like, and I love to see the final product when it's actually built. And so what is my goal? Why am I taking this class? And of course, I'm not taking this class. I'm teaching this class. But I did take this class. Okay, I was working away as a test site supervisor, and my boss called me in one day and said, bring your crew in on Saturday. They're going to get overtime, and it'll take about 8 hours. And he wouldn't tell me what it was. So I came in with the crew on Saturday, and my boss had us remove every drafting table, every T-square, every pencil from the office. We had 15 designers, drafters, and engineers, and replace them with computer workstations. And then on Sunday, our millwrights came in and set up the computer system, and we transitioned to CAD that next week. And I came to American River College. This was in about maybe 1990-ish, somewhere right in there. And I sat in room 309 for a week and learned AutoCAD on floppy disks. It was quite a bit different. It is so much better now. So my goal in learning AutoCAD was to keep my job and be current as a designer and engineer. And I have been doing so ever since. What experience do I have? I've got a lot of experience. I was a subcontractor as a modeler for the Academy of Sciences building. Of course, most of the time I was an engineering manager, and so I was not as involved with doing the CAD. I had to keep up. I had to be able to do it, but I was operating with it. But then when I started my own business, I became a CAD designer, mechanical, plumbing engineer. So that's my experience with AutoCAD in the field, and I keep it up to date even now. And I will post a picture of my little dog Kermit, and he's a little corgi like something mix, and he's a sweetheart. He's a stray that my daughter found. She was living in Australia at the time, still lives in Australia. She came to visit, saw him running around in the rain, opened the car door to see if he was okay, and he immediately jumped in and became my dog. And I'm so glad that he is, and that he did. So there we go. That's a little bit, and I'll post a picture in here when I get a chance. And then it's going to do all sorts of stuff, and I'll have to title it. This is 1301 intro Juiced, or maybe something like that, and I'll save it. Now, you may have to do some setup with your computer for it to do that, and it will take a little while. And I'll go find a picture of Kermit, and I'll post it on here. He's such a cute little guy. Love him to death. So there we go. So I'm going to post it now. Oh, I'll wait until it's embedded and do all that kind of stuff. So there we go. That's how we do that. That's the introduce yourself. Let me do the need help with discussions. There's 2 pinned discussions. If you have just general questions about how to do something, how do I draw a circle? How do I use the move command? How do I put them in there? Be as specific as you can be, or as general as you want. And hopefully you will all be reading these regularly, and you will add your knowledge and answer the questions. Okay? It's better for you if you answer questions for other people. I will monitor, and if the answer doesn't get made, I'll go ahead and pipe in eventually. But the goal is for you to collaborate with each other and to answer each other's questions. And if you're reading one of the assignments and you don't get it, ask your colleagues first. Okay, so you would just go in here and come down here, and you would post a reply that says, how do I, and then ask your question, and you can give examples and things like that. Okay, so there we go. And then the last part is our tech prep worksheet. It's actually 3 worksheets, and you'll find it right here. Click, make a copy, and then it's yours to work with. And you can just put an X in any of these. Do you have good internet access? Are you working with a keyboard and a mouse? You may wonder, but for a longest time, we sent out Chromebooks, and I spelled that wrong, I see, without keyboard or mouse. So there's all these questions here, and then there's some skills about whether you've got these skills or not. And then I like to know about other design skills that you might have. Okay, now there's no right or wrong. You could be just fine putting 5s, none, on all of these. It will be just fine. It will clue me in that I may need to give you some extra examples and instruction. These are not technically part of our class, but they're skills that make your life easier. So we will teach them to you if you don't have those skills. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you go File, Download as a PDF, Export, or whatever your system does. You can print, you can snip, you can copy. Okay? And there's actually, this is an assignment. When it turns on, you'll see a place to submit it, and you'll just be able to drag that right into the submittal box. Okay, and it's worth 10 points just for turning it in. 10 points just to turn it in. Okay, so there we go. Let's see if this has taken a long time to process. The internet is kind of slow right now. Everybody's on it at once, but once it gets done, it'll be fine. You might have to wait 10 or 15 minutes and then post the reply, and there you go. So that is activity 1.3. I'll post it right here. And I look forward to meeting you and helping you and finding out what kind of tech skills you already have.